Hello and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla 1.0. In the last episode, we finally got science going on the bus here. We had made already the red, the green, and the gray science, and we needed to set up labs. So we set up about 10 labs here. And then between the episodes, and we got science going again, which speaking of which, we can probably get some more stuff going here. Maybe physical projectile damage would be good. And then I went over and did a bunch of cleanup and removal of stuff here at the starter base area, and pulled up a lot of stuff, and cleaned off of most or all of the belts, maybe all of the belts, and picked up all the labs we had here. We had 20 of them, and I brought them back over here and put them down, and I also grabbed 10 more labs out of the mall, so now we have 40 labs chugging away at research, which should get us through a good chunk more of the game, and plus we're kind of stuck here with the belts for the copper, but that should get us through another good chunk of the game. And then once we get a little bit further along, we'll of course add more, probably maybe out to 60 or so. You don't need like hundreds of labs or anything because you can't produce that much science. So I'm not sure where I'm going to end up at, but I'll probably just kind of see if we end up keeping the ability to feed the science in without starving out any of the labs, then we add more labs, basically. You can do the math on it, but it's not that worth it. So what I want to do today is, and I'm out here at the eastern defense line here, I want to build a wall. I want to design a wall, really. So I have picked up a bunch of walls here, and of course I have a bunch of turrets, some of the ones that I picked up at the old base. So turrets have a decent range. As you can see, the light green circle here, and of course it's nighttime now because it never fails. But you can see the light green circle that goes kind of out to about here. Actually, exactly out to about there. So you want to have a little bit of space between your turrets and your wall. 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe spaces. And that's just to kind of keep the spitters from hitting you too easily. But you also don't want the wall too far out so that it actually causes an impact to your to the walls, because as the biters start chewing on the walls. So that might even be too far, but I know you want some space. Maybe 2 spaces is enough. We definitely don't need a 3 thick wall here, but let's start with that as an idea. Maybe 2 spaces is enough here. And so we'll kind of go out a little bit here. We're going to end up blueprinting this and stamping it down and planning it out. So there's a few things you can do other than just putting up a wall. And one of those things is called Dragon's Teeth. So that is basically just putting down a wall every other space. Just a single wall here. And then skipping a row and doing the same thing. And what this does is it makes the biters slow down a little bit to weave through and gives the guns more time to shoot. And that might be enough. Just 4 sort of rows of Dragon's Teeth. Because again, we have that limit on the distance that the guns can shoot for. So you don't want too much wall out here, otherwise the biters might, the spitters especially, might start spitting at these walls and destroying them instead of coming into where the turrets can shoot. The other thing we could make, and I don't have this set up in the mall, I actually don't have them researched either. Let's look at, where are those at? Ah, mines. Is we could build some landmines. We need explosives. What was the recipe for explosives here? Sulfur. Okay, so we need oil for mines. But we could set up some mines, and I've seen some evidence that these are really, really good. So we could set up some mines out here and maybe put them in between some of these walls, and that would destroy some of the biters before they even make it to the actual impeding wall here. So that's an idea as well, but obviously we don't have oil yet, so doing something like that is not timely. So for this wall, we literally just put it down. I mean, it's kind of straightforward, and of course we can't build on water, but that's fine. And of course I can't draw straight lines. And then any more out here, you want to make sure you go all the way to the water's edge. The biters shouldn't be able to sneak through there, but they have been known to. In order to sneak around your turrets. So it might be worth it to put a second turret out there in the corner, especially because all the biters seem to be dying right here anyway. So I can potentially do that. Yeah, let's do that. Just put another turret like there, and maybe another one even right there. And I'm just going to put a lot of ammo in these because they seem to be attacking these as they come from up here. They come around the water and they hit those turrets especially. So you can always go a little thicker on your turrets than what I have here. This is just kind of a starting point for myself. And then we just need to build a wall. Like, there's not a lot of concept to it or whatever. But we just need to have the ability, and you don't even have to put all the dragon's teeth in right now. We could save that for later or when we have bots out here at the wall. And we'll probably end up moving this wall at some point too, but maybe. I will almost certainly put gates through it if we need to continue gathering resources out here. But you can kind of see what the dragon's teeth do if we get under another attack. Which hopefully we don't, but you never know. And even the logs in the trees and such offer some impediment to the biters. Like, they have to navigate their way around them. I don't think I'm going to put all these dragon's teeth in because we aren't really getting attacks from down here anyway. So I think maybe I'll just put the solid wall in, and then we can move on to other things. Take this one out, maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and paste down the dragon's teeth anyway, because we might as well. So later we'll redesign this wall area a little bit. Actually, we could do it soon, and that would be to have a train probably that delivers delivers ammo out here to the wall, and then have a belt that takes the ammo and it to each of the turrets. Like, comes along the way of the turrets here and offers the ammo to the turrets. And you just kind of do a straight belt. Some people have actually done loops around their entire base, which is kind of, I think, a little bit of overkill maybe. But it's definitely a valid option. And I think for here, I'm just going to do maybe like some extra bit of wall and then call it a day. And of course, I can't get around that lake with the wall there. Excellent. So if I can't get there, hopefully neither can the biters. Or through there, I should say. Hopefully neither can the biters. So, like, if we come down here, where this wall butts up against the water, I can't get through here, so hopefully they can't either. But maybe I'll put a few of the dragon's teeth in here. For this area down here, just in case we do get attacked. In this area, because this is another edge, so it might be worth it. That's good. And then I just need to fill in the wall. Maybe we could get attacked anywhere along the length of the wall, but hopefully the biters are as predictable as I think they are. And then I can continue this wall, probably off camera. I don't want to bore everyone with too much redundancy. So I think I can probably continue this off camera and just continue the wall around where we have the turrets. And even in other parts of the base where we don't really have turrets as well, like in the south, west, northwest kind of areas, to make those choke points that we talked about. And if I get this built, then I can go into map mode and talk about those. So we talked about a choke point somewhere in here. I could put one in. We have this nice, probably unbroken cliff here we could take advantage of. I'd really like to move the choke point down here someplace. And then this is a nice natural choke point here. It's not too wide, although it's on a slight angle, so it's not perfect. Maybe I'll go like straight up somehow and then come over on an angle. And then up here, this is a nice narrow choke point here. Maybe a 45-degree angle, kind of a wall here, or mostly 45, and then come across. We can do things like that. And then these walls will probably never move because the thing with Factorio is the way that the ore... Let's start a research before I get into that. Let's do cliff explosives so I can blow up from cliffs soon. I should do the mines too, duh. The way that Factorio ore spawning works is outside of the starting area, the further you get from the starting area, the larger the ore patches and the more rich the ore patches get. And the less frequent they get, but they compensate for it by being huge. And if you have trains going, you don't really need to worry about too much about distance. So given that, it's more logical to move as far as resource collection in one direction. Although now that I said that, maybe east isn't the right direction for resource collection, given that all my resource processing is being done on the west end. So it might make more sense to actually move west for my resource collection and make wherever the bus ends be the final wall point here. But we have time to think about that because we still have some resources in the revealed part of the map. I mean, we just picked up this iron out here. That stone there, of course. There's a bit of iron up here. There's iron there. We, of course, have the iron and the copper we've already started mining. We have a little bit left in the starter patches as well. And there's a lot of copper here near the spawn for whatever reason. But more important at this point is oil. And we have a patch of oil here. 1080%, which isn't a lot. 887%, which also isn't a lot. And we have, looks like about 800% here, 800% there. So we have these small patches of oil, which doesn't surprise me since I didn't increase any since we're playing with default resource spawning. So what I need to do is probably collect multiple ones of these over a very short amount of time, and bring them back to an area where I want to process oil. Now I talked about these needing to go up here, so I don't want to process oil up here, but I also want to make sure I leave enough room. So I want to see about how much room I need. For iron, you need about let's see, at least 8 belts of iron, at least, for the base that I'm going to do. So that would be, I'm going to just put these down and then pick them back up again. That'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I definitely wouldn't want train tracks to be any closer to there than there. So we could go up here maybe nearer to the coal patch and deliver stuff somewhere in here maybe, at least for the iron. Copper, maybe I'll deliver down in here. So we really need to start laying out some rails. But I think we can get by without the rails at this point and start bringing in now. I think we're going to need rails to bring in this oil, even this one. If I want to do some oil processing, maybe right in here near the bus, then I'm going to need to have some trains bringing these resources in. So I think what we need to do is saddle back up in the car and head back to the base and pick up the stuff that's needed for building a rail network. Cliff explosives finished. We wanted to do mines. Up here, watch out for too many trees and any rocks. And stone's going to be a real big problem here real soon. So we're going to have to get on the rails for that anyway, and you need stone to get on the rails. Stone itself, not stone bricks, that is. So, of course, now is the time for that. I'm going to dump some of this ammo into the car, just so that I don't have to deal with it. And let's go pick up a bunch of rails. There's a bunch. Some stations. Sure, we'll just take all 10. That's one stack. Some engines. I think I'll take half. Wait a minute. Okay. Take 5. And rail cars here. These are 5. We'll take 10 of those. Fluid wagons. Oh boy, we don't have fluid wagons being made. Let's grab that mall blueprint and hopefully get to put this right back down again. Yes, fluid wagons. We need fluid wagons to make the to bring the oil back. We also need some of these tanks. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, what's left of that stack. We need chain signals and rail signals. Yes, we need pumps. Yes, we might as well take the whole stack. We definitely need pump jacks. We're going to need a lot of those, one for each oil spot, so that's useful to have. And then we will need chemical plants here. We will need oil refineries here eventually. But I think that's what we need for this project. As soon as we get... Well, 4 of these should be enough. There we go. Enough to get 1 train load, basically, full if I do 4 trains, which is what I usually do, so we're going to go with it. Any other recipes that got filled in here in the mall that don't have machines placed yet? I want to grab... Do I want to grab some more? Let's grab some more of these, because they're almost out. I'm going to grab... Apparently not all of those. Should get some of those turrets as well. Landmine's finished. Ooh, solar, that might be good to get. Because we're going to need power soon again. And I probably should start making solar and accumulators. These got placed, but they're not necessary really. Well, I can't do them anyway until we have red circuits. You know what? I don't care. I'll just put them down. There. And that can go there, even though it's not going to get used. Oh, the stack inserters got placed as well. We can't get any of those until we have red circuits either. So, but we can at least get them loaded up with the stuff they can have. And that looks like that's about it. We could do the red belts now, I suppose. Yeah, let's go ahead and let the red belts start getting made. That couldn't hurt. Oh, that was supposed to be blue. Did that mess up this? Yes, it did. Doggone it. Messed up the filter because I put the wrong inserter down. You go there and there, there, and there. Inserter, blue inserter, yellow inserter. Alright, so those can get made. They're going to consume a lot of iron, but it's okay. Although it might not be okay, but they won't, hopefully won't take too long. I'm going to drop some of these turrets in the car. Also, and then let's drive up here where we talked about maybe building the oil refinery and look at putting in some stations. I did not remove those. I should have removed those. So let's go up a bit just to make sure that we have some space. I should remove these. Let's do a deconstruction planner. Shift clicking. No, wait. Clicking first. Left click, drag, and then shift click to remove the oopsies. That all about? Oh, I know what that was about. Okay. So if we start north of here with our train network, that should help. Let's grab some rails. And I want to start out by figuring out how I want to lay this rail network out, or how I want to build a blueprint to base the rail network off of. I usually like to build it with the length of the big electric poles in mind, the maximum reach here. And so that's basically like 1 block. And you can also make sure you measure it considering the length of the trains you want. So I want to have 1-4 trains. So actually this block is not long enough. So I need to make sure that I have my signals for my trains further apart than 2 big electric poles. So I'm going to go 3. Simple as that. Let's go back. That way I can place it. And then I want to try and grab this and come back with it. Oops, that was in the wrong spot. Okay, so there's also a sort of measurement of how wide you want your rail network to be. Some people put 2 rails in between and then build like this. Some people put 3 rails in between and then build like this. I used to use exclusively a 2-rail space, but now I actually prefer a 3-rail space like this. So let's take these up. And the reason I prefer that is because it makes signaling a lot easier. So we have 1, 2, 3. So the power poles actually need to be slightly below where they are right now. Like right there. To be centered inside of the, between the rails, basically. It looks like they're closer to the top, but actually if you count it out, they're actually not. So there's not any space here, there's not any space here, and this one is in line with that one. It just looks kind of weird because of the way the 3D works in the game. So for this, I want to have a rail. Let's go a little bit further. I want to have a rail signal. It grabs them of the signals here. Where did I put them? Where did it put them? Here and here? Sure. I want to have a rail signal that is next to that power pole and also next to this power pole. I've done them leading and lagging. I don't think it really matters as long as you're consistent. And then I want signals over here next to this power pole. And at the power pole in the middle, I don't want any signals at all. Which way did I do it now? You want to make sure they're the same. So you can actually just take, like this, a blueprint, and put it down like this, and that way you make sure the signals are the same. And the reason you want them to be the same is so that you can do a blueprint and stamp these two rail segments down next to each other and have the signals placed in the same spot. So as you can see, this is a bit longer than the 1-4 train is, but it's just important that it's not shorter. So the next thing that I want to do here is put down some lights. And I've done different designs of lights before, but I think I will just do lights where I have the signals. Actually, that's not going to work. They need to be here. Because, again, stamping down the blueprint. You know what? Actually, I'll put them at every pole. And these don't have power right now because we're here in the middle of the boonies. So now that we have this, assuming this is where I want it to be, which it might not actually be. No, I don't think it is actually where I want it to be. So it means I need to pick all this up. Man, I wish I had robots right now. Let's see. Let's take up this much. If you notice, I have the rail that is fully next to the power pole. And all of the signals and all of the lamps. Pick all this junk up now. But at least we got a design. So now we just need to follow the design to make a rail network. And of course that means clearing a lot of trees and everything. All by hand because I don't have any robots. But at least I only need to do the parts of the rail network that I need to use right now. I don't need to build a massive thing until I have at least some construction robots that I can put into a personal armor and build with. Okay, so I think, let's grab the car so I don't have to walk the whole thing, but I think I want to just build this up a little bit further. Maybe I'll start on this side of the other side of the trees. And come up here a bit. How about right in here is where we'll start. Right in this clearing here. And even come up toward the top of the trees. Like that. And then of course, again, like I said, we have to build all this by hand. So this is going to be a probably a bit of an off-camera exercise to build some of this. But this is kind of the way that it works. It's a bit unfortunate. That's why I usually play with some sort of early game robots, because it's a lot of work to set up a rail network before you have bots. But because our oil is so far away and so small, we're going to need a lot of them. We kind of need to do this. Although I guess I could avoid putting down certain things like lamps. And the other thing I could do is I could use a train to build, or I could drive a train in order to build instead of driving the car along the way. That may or may not be useful. And, well, yeah, that might be useful. The problem is I don't have a whole lot of fuel. So I'm going to steal like half the fuel from here and put down a train engine, and just the engine this time. Drop that fuel in there. And then I can continue building this across here. So we need to, of course, pick up some of these trees. I could also leave as many of the trees as possible. Maybe that's a good idea. Shift click so you can put down the blueprint and mark the stuff for deletion. Oh look, we got a coal rock over here. Yeah, I'm going to leave as many of the trees as possible for right now. That needs to go to... Oops. And if you delete blueprints like I just did, it's not a huge deal. Because we're just going to do this manually anyway. There. And I guess I should have run some power up here, so that these weren't all flashing at me all the time. Okay. And that is 2 segments of the rail. Now we need to work our way here. So it's not, I mean, it's not going to take that long to do, but it's kind of just a bit of a tedious, repetitive process. And the reason that I'm doing rails as opposed to, I guess I should have said this earlier, as opposed to the running pipes for this is because of the distance. Fluids don't flow very well over long distances. They need, and they need pumps repeated along the way. So that's why I picked up the pumps earlier. You know what, let's do something slightly different here, maybe. Will this work? Yes, it will. Drive the train and build the other rail while we're driving the train. So the pumps need power in order to continue going. Oh boy, we have a cliff in the way. So at this point, my choice is to go around the cliffs, or like take the whole rail around the cliffs, which I don't want to do, or just make a edit here and then fix it later. And I think I'm going to do that method. Let's build just that out there. That way I can see where I'm going. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take this rail like this. Nope, not there. Like this. And go around. Like that. And then I'll have to figure out what I do about it later. But it'll basically later it'll just be, okay, well now it's time to put the rail in correctly and then move on with things. Once I have cliff explosives to blow up those cliffs. And of course we don't have the ability to put this power pole in here. So I'm just going to put a couple like that. And then we'll get that power pole and those lights and whatnot later. Also. And actually what I should do here... Actually, I can just do it. Just drive it. Back up just a little. You know. Let's do another recipe. I keep forgetting to do these. Combat robotics could be fun. I haven't really used those a whole lot, other than there's an achievement to use them. So I did use that, but... other than that, I haven't really done it a whole lot. But you know what? I think I will finish these rails out here. At least this far. Although I would really like to get all the way out here too. That's going to require, of course, coming around this this lake here. Maybe I'll just come up to it and then turn down. That's not a bad idea. But we'll get this at least this far set up, built, and then in the next episode we can build some stations here and here, set up an oil processing after that, and then move on to actually processing oil, making sulfur, making plastic, and making red circuits, and then making blue science. That's a couple, 3 episodes worth of content at least. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.